Well, hello, friends and neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome down the Whiskey Nook. Sunday. So I'm going to take a look at a couple of samples with you guys. This will be the first time I've tried these. They're from a couple of friends. We actually met locally, which is pretty cool. Nathan and I met a little while ago, and he gave me this Crown Royal limited edition 10-year-old Canadian whiskey. And actually a few weeks before that, Andy met me and gave me, oh, it's not even labeled, gave me a Tyrconnell 15-year-old Madeira cask. And I wanted to get to that because hopefully the next few reviews are going to be a little more Irish heading into St. Patrick's Day. So I'll probably put the bottles over here so you can see them. When we come back, I'll talk about Crown Royal 10-year-old and Tyrconnell single malt Madeira cask.
3, 4.
Thanks for staying with me. I am going to do the Canadian first and then the Tyrconnell, mostly because the Tyrconnell is a 46% and the Canadian whiskey is a 40%. So I tend to try to drink into strength or drink into peat if that's where I'm going. But in this case, we're just doing a little bit about ABV. So the first one's Canadian. I believe the limited 10-year-old from Crown Royal came out possibly to celebrate Manitoba's 150th, I'm not sure, but it's on the shelves locally at a really great price. I don't have a lot of Crown Royal. It tends to be a little kind of sweeter for me, but you know, I like that it has an age stamp. We'll see what we get on it. This is a Canadian whiskey. If you have some Canadian, now would be a good chance to pour a little and then see if you get some of the same notes. Okay, I think a light caramel and toffee come up pretty quick. There's a little bit of very light fruit, kind of an apple. Possibly a bit of spice. Yeah, actually, I think maybe there's a little bit of rye spice going on in there. Fairly gentle, fairly light nose. Makes sense at 40%. I don't really want to consider the color. I imagine it's chill filtered and colored. You know, Crown puts out a lot of whiskey. I know it's going to be lots of blends in here. I'm assuming high corn and some rye to make it tasty. Let's see if it is on the palate. I'm going to say that's a surprise for me. I tend to come at Crown with a little bit of a negative bias. But a couple episodes back, I had that Crown Royal 16-year-old rye, which was awesome. And this, very affordable, tasty Canadian. You know, I got some spice, a little cracked cinnamon. Again, some of that apple sweetness, but mix it with a bit of toffee and caramel. Fairly good experience. Quite smooth. And by that I mean, you know, it coats gently, wisps through the palate a little bit. I kind of feel it falls apart a little bit at the finish, where I get almost a slight bitterness or astringency. But that's kind of a nice little drinkable whiskey. You know, obviously with samples I don't give them star ratings, but that actually held my interest. That wasn't bad. I shouldn't say it like that. You know, it was pretty good. Again, some of that bitter and artificial is staying with me now a little bit, and I'm not a big fan of that. So finish isn't great, but the mouth feels easy. There's a bit of spice. Not a bad Canadian. Moving on to the Tyrconnell single malt. This is a 15-year-old expression, 46%, and I think it's ex-bourbon aged and then finished for some length of time in Madeira casks. So let's see this one on the nose. Much stronger malty note. Of course, we got single malt. It's nothing but barley. I believe this one's only double distilled instead of triple, which is kind of interesting. There is a fair amount of sweetness here, but this is kind of pear honey. fresh apple, and a definite malty note. Now almost it went sweet into like a white grape or a light peach. And it's not a strong peach because that can be too sweet for me, but yeah, some light stone fruits, light pineapple. I don't know how, I was going to say it's kind of a creamy nose. I don't know how a creamy nose smells, but it's like the aromas just roll across the nose. Okay. It is a little sweet for me on the nose, but really well put together. Let's see what's in here. Slaja. This is a mature whiskey. You know, and you find yourself trying not to make those noises on camera, but when you're kind of smacking your lips and trying to tease apart. Again, fairly malt forward for me. There's a dusty note in here. Definite sweet fruits. Not quite, yeah, pineapple, pear. No, let's go more pear. So sweet pear and honey. The malt continues. There's a little bit of a floral note that's creeping up now on the early finish. That's actually kind of perfumey. I better try it again. A little bit of peppering. Feels like a wood spice. Okay, that's really weird. Like, really weird. Nose was good. Inviting. First sip on the palate, I'm getting excited. Clearly got lots of different things going on, including a little bit of oaking. But now in the second sip, and it's just really keeping to come, I'm getting a very perfumey note, like a potpourri, floral, but pretty strong. Interesting. As always, just my thoughts. And with samples, this is like, that's the first time I had it. Like I don't have time to consider and come back and try a bit of water. Like it's just pour and sip. It's kind of like a neck pour in a way, right? Where your first impression. So please don't take it too seriously. For a nice light Canadian with a bit of rye spice, I think I could go for that. It's a decent price too. Not bad. Didn't wow me, but not bad. My first thoughts on this, and I'm going to have to like slowly sip this over the next little while. At first, like I was like, oh yeah, like just, and even coming from the Canadian, it just felt like it was structured well and this was going to be impressive. But that perfume note is very strong and keeping me from loving it. Thanks for joining me here. Again, thanks to Nathan and Andy and everyone who sends samples. You know, it's just so much fun that you guys can share a little bit of whiskey experience for me, and that way I can talk about it without maybe sinking a whole bottle. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to a big week. A colleague of mine is going through some really hard stuff. So I know everyone in the office is going to be supporting that person, and I hope to too. I just want to remind everyone, you know, I don't know what the word is, pandemic tired, COVID tired, and I'm sure all of you are too. But I encourage you, please stick to the guidelines of the health and medical officers in your area. This is, they're doing the things that they're doing for what they believe to be the best that is possible for the population. And I really believe if we follow it, we're going to get out of this sooner rather than complications. Thanks for joining me. Hope you've got some nice whiskey in your glass and can enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care.